My name is Muhammad Irfan Danish bin Azizi.
My name is Adahai Ishak bin Muhammad Hamdan.
My name is Nurshada binti Shukri.
My name is Marina Umaira.
My name is Nurhal binti Razi.
My name is Nurul Hidayah binti Abdul Rahman.
My previous school is SMKA Al-Mashhur Lelaki, which is at Pulau Pinang, Malaysia.
I studied at Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengku Penjemaah Shah Alam Selangor.
I graduate from Nikas Girls High School in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
I studied at SMA Mahat Al-Mashhur Al-Islami Meripula, Pulau Pinang.
I graduated from SMK Abdullah Mushi, Pulau Pinang.
I graduate from Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Agama Falahiyah, Pasir Pekan, Kelantan.
The thing that really motivated me the most to enter law school is when I see my father, who became a really great lawyer and very successful man. I really want to become like him.
My motivation to enter law school is my both parents, as I'm seeing them fighting for people's rights, and that is what encouraged me to pursue my study in the law school.
From a young age, I've been watching lots of K-dramas and movies about judges. So since then, I've been drawn to legal career ever since. And since I've been in a law school, I found out that it is hard to be a lawyer, and it also needs a lot of passion to be in it. Even though I know it's challenging, it doesn't mean I'll give up. So I'm sure I could do it.
I chose to enter law school because I have always been passionate about justice, fairness, and also understanding how the law works that affect our daily life. And I believe that legal knowledge can be used to help people and also can bring positive change in the society. So that's why I chose to enter law school.
My motivation into law started when I saw my father watching American drama called Suits at TV. I was very impressed about the lawyer lifestyle and how they can speak confidently and fought for justice in a very professional way. Learning about how the law works and how it applies in real life situations has always made me develop interest in this field.
My motivation to enter the law school, which is I inspired from the movie like K-drama and English movie, and even people out there say that the movie and the real life is not the same, but I still curious about the law, how it's been held, and how the judges make the decision to give the justice to the both sides. And I really love to see the lawyers argue in the court to give some justice to the people who deserve the justice but don't know how to express it.
Completing diploma, I think I want to continue studying in degree at another university such as UKM or in UM.
After the diploma, I will continue to work at my father's firm to gain knowledge and experience, and after that I will go to the Bachelor of Law to continue chasing my dream to become a lawyer.
After finishing my diploma, I plan to take breaks for a few months to think about what I want to do to further my study. Maybe I could think to further my study on diploma in Sharia for a year in UNISA, or maybe I could just do my intern in another company. Since I'm the one who will study, I want to make sure that I can focus, and I will love to study about law more in the schools.
After completing my diploma, I would like to pursue LLB studies, which is degree in law, and I would like to pursue my degree at University Malaya, insyaAllah.
After I completed my diploma, I would like to further my studies in LLB at any university in Malaysia.
After completing my diploma, I plan to pursue in LLB, maybe in the UIA or UKM, so that I can deepen my legal knowledge and I also can practice to be a good lawyer.
I'm interested to continue my career to become a civil lawyer.
I've been interested to be a Sharia lawyer and a corporate lawyer.
My dream career is to be a legal advisor in a business department, especially in travel and tourist business. And also I already interested to be in a legal advisor at any corporation company. Since I do love helping people, I'm sure I could help them with my law study in this field. But I also have passion in doing Sharia law by being a legal researcher, where I want to research about our Islamic law and how applicable it is. Maybe it can be a source to make an Islamic law to be more dependable than ever.
For career-wise, I'm quite interested in becoming a legal executive or legal officer in the future. Maybe in the company like AMB or government agency. I like this part because I can apply what I have learned in law without going to court. Other than that, I enjoy behind-the-scenes legal work like reviewing contracts and making sure everything is compliant.
For my career, I would like to be a lawyer, and I also wanted to be a Sharia lawyer because my mom encouraged me to be Sharia lawyer.
As for the career, I really interested on being Sharia lawyer so that I can contribute to the development and protection under Islamic family law in Malaysia.
The skill that I gained in this semester that is really helpful to me is I learned how to communicate with others and work as a teammate. And I also learned how to do a legal research and how to using online database.
For this semester, I've gained a lot of skills, either in soft skills or hard skills. For the soft skill, I've learned to do critical thinking, communication skills, and the teamwork to complete our assignment. For the hard skills, I have learned a lot of techniques, such as the techniques to write an ILAC and using the LexisNexis to do the legal research and the methods to solve problematic questions.
On this semester, I've managed to improve my soft skills, which is communication skills with my friends, team members, and also classmates, or maybe even strangers, since I've been doing lots of program on it. And also I also learned on how to be punctual and disciplined on my timing, since these days I've never really had my own time and I've been doing a lot of work, which is a lot of assignment.
Throughout this semester, I have gained a lot of skills such as soft skill and also hard skill. So for soft skill, I have developed my skill like communication and also teamwork, especially by doing group assignment project and enjoying the university's club. And also for the hard skill, I have developed my skill for legal research and also using online databases for law. That's all.
Throughout this semester, I've learned a lot of valuable skills such as soft skills, where it helps me to how to work in a teamwork, and also it really helps my communication skills. As I am an introvert person, it really helps me a lot to speak confidently in front of everyone.
This semester really helped me to improve myself, in aspect of soft skill, through doing the teamwork, communication, and also helped me to improve my time management through the group assignment and presentation. And I also gained the hard skill like critical thinking on doing legal search, using LexisNexis and CLJ law. and somehow it's really helped me by doing the report, which is I need to know about how the footnotes, about how to the reference, like I never knew that on my high school. So it's such a very important knowledge, and I'm glad I can learn it in my law school. I really hope that all the skills I can apply it in my career job soon. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 9, trying to find a solution about Zarina's case. So Zarina, a 21-year-old female, she's an entrepreneur and a founder of halal certificate food tech company called Sustainable Bites, and she subscribed to an AI driven management service tool from Smart Stock Sdn Bhd. But then she found out that the services wasn't she thought it was. Okay, but she still fully subscribed to it without knowing the services, despite being pressured by the ad.
So the first thing we should take a look in Zarina's situation is free consent under section 10, 13, 14 of the Contracts Act 1915 states about free consent in contract law. The section states that for a contract to be considered legally binding, all parties must give free consent upon the same thing in the same case, which means all parties to the contract must give their consent freely in the same agreement in order to form a valid contract together. So in Zarina's situation, Smart Stock Sdn Bhd rushed Zarina to click buy now without showing the full term properly beforehand, which made Zarina's decision to enter into the contract was not made by her full consent. So there is also one case law that can be related to Zarina's situation, which is the case of Interphoto Picture Library Limited and Stiletto Visual Program Limited, which the contract had important terms, but Zarina did not know anything about the further information.
Another element under free consent is misrepresentation. It was stated in the section 18 of the Contract Act 1950. I will be explaining the element of misrepresentation. Under Malaysian contract law, misrepresentation refers to the false statement that induce the party to enter into the contract. It must be more than just an opinion or future intention. It has to be an actual statement about the existing or past fact. In Zarina's case, Smart Stock has misleading claim that their software was AI based and endorsed by big brands. However, it turned out to be just an Excel tool manual. This is an example of a false statement of fact, not just marketing hype. Now, we also considered who the false statement was made to. It was clearly aimed at Zarina, who relied on it when making her decision to subscribe. This satisfied the element of the misrepresentation that must be addressed to the misled party. Next is whether she relied on the statement. Zarina didn't get the full term up front and was pressured by aggressive advertising and the chatbot. She would have agreed if she had known the truth, showing clear inducement into the contract. The relevant case that support this case is the Pigs and Gurney, Tan Chung Chiu, Eastern Mining and Metal, and Redref against Hart, Radar Resource against Majlis Pembandaran Kajang.
Okay, so now let's discuss the exclusion clause in Smart Stock contract and why it's likely and enforceable under Malaysian contract law. Okay, for the first one, improper incorporation. If we look into the case of Zarina, the clause was hidden inside a rush chatbot funnel. Zarina had no real chance to read or understand the terms before agreeing. The situation mirrors the case of Tonton and Show Lane Parking. Next one, unclear wording. The clause is vague and doesn't clearly state that it excludes liability for misrepresentation. Here, we can apply the contra proferentum rule. And the next one, it against public public policy in the Section 29 of Contract Act 1950. Under Section 29, makes agreements void if they restrict legal proceedings or remedies. In the case of CIMB Bank and Anthony Lawrence Borg, the court held that an exclusion clause that prevents a party from seeking legal redress is void as it goes against public policy. So, if Smart Stocks clause tries to block Zarina from getting a refund or suing for misrepresentation, it violates Section 29 and can be enforced. For the last one, misrepresentation overrides the clause. Even if a valid exclusion clause existed, it can be used to escape liability if the contract was formed through misrepresentation. So, because Zarina was influenced by false claims, the exclusion clause cannot protect Smart Stock. So, to conclude this exclusion clause, Smart Stock exclusion clause fails for 4 reasons. It wasn't properly incorporated, it's vague, it against public policy, and lastly, it cannot override misrepresentation.
So, after we know the issues and the element that has been held in Zarina's situation, now I will explain about the remedies that Zarina can get. So, the first one under Section 19. So, under Section 19 is said about the voidable contract. So, Zarina was misled by false marketing claims, which is AI features. Then the aggressive chatbot limited her ability to read full term. So Zarina's consent was not freely given, and she can so the contract is voidable at her option, and Zarina has the right to cancel the contract. So next, under Section 65, it says about refund after rescission. So when a contract is rescinded, the party who receive benefit must return them. Since Zarina already paid 4,500, so Smart Stock must refund the full amount to her. And lastly, under Section 76, compensation for loss. So if Zarina already receives the contract, Zarina also can claim for damages. For example, cover business losses, operational disruption, or costs caused by the faulty service.
In conclusion, based on all the facts that we have discussed, Ms. Zarina has strong legal grounds to challenge the validity of the contract with Smart Stocks in Berhad. Therefore, Ms. Zarina is entitled to cancel the contract and ask for a full refund and take a further legal action if necessary.